normally I'll start an interview off and ask, like, if you're ready, right? But no one, I feel, is ever ready to talk about what we're going to talk about, right? This is your first official interview.
Yes.
Okay. Since your, I want to call it a PSA to the Jakes family, TD Jakes, his wife Sarita Jakes, his daughter Cora Jakes. I would say, Cora Jakes, ex-husband, but that situation is kind of different, and so we'll definitely address that here later. But a few weeks ago, you went live on Facebook, and I want to introduce your real name is Michelle Powell.
No, it's Michelle.
It's loud.
Powell.
It's Michelle Powell.
Michelle Powell Loud.
Michelle Powell Loud.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought, because you know how some people, have pseudonames for their last name. So I thought the Loud part was just, that's just a little pseudo name that you use.
That's actually my real last name. My dad's name is Michael Keith Loud.
Okay.
And I don't know, my parents, he put himself on child support. The judge asked him if he wanted me to have his last name. He said, yeah. My mama didn't drop the Powell, so I have 2 middle names, 2 last names.
I feel most Black people do. It's okay. I'm glad to see that you're in good spirits.
Yes, ma'am.
Because your video on Facebook, you were going in.
Yeah.
And from the allegations that were made, I can understand why you were going in. I'm a mother, you're a mother, and I can't imagine someone that I thought was my friend, my childhood friend, a family that supposedly nurtured you and helped you grow and introduced you. I wouldn't say introduced you, because I don't know that, as far as where your faith, how you got, I guess, where you got your standard practices when it came to faith or anything like that. But some people that you've known since you were a child. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let me just give some background. Because the reason I asked you to sit down with me, and I'm honored that you even chose my platform to do this, is because your video was 2 hours. It was actually an hour and I want to say 40 minutes and some seconds. And you threw in a lot. It was a lot. My baby was stolen. I had postpartum depression. I was forced to give up rights, not in my state of mind. First of all, when I gave up the rights, it wasn't even the proper legal channels for me to give up the rights. They had videos of me. This is what they did. Now, the husband, and we're talking about T.D. Jakes' daughter, who is over his ministry, children's ministry.
3,000 children.
3,000 children at the Potter's House, which is a very, very big
30,000 member church.
Yeah, ministry. So, a family that you grew up with, that you were close to. So, like, this family. This, to everyone else, I'm sure people were like, "Whoa, this is the Jakes."
Right.
To you, you told everybody on that live, you're pulling back all the curtains. I'm done. I'm not protecting y'all no more. I'm not scared anymore. You stole my baby, and I want my child home. So I just want us to take that video, and like I told you when we got in here, I don't want you to feel like we're going to throw this in there and throw this, because this is initially like going to eventually be another legal situation. So I really just want you to put it in chronological order for everyone so they can understand how that video really came to be. Why you were so angry. Why were you frustrated? Why are you done? Why are you fighting? So, Miss Loud.
Yes.
Welcome to Unwinewithtashak.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here.
Anytime. Are you nervous?
I'm kind of calming down.
Okay.
I was real nervous. That's just how I get.
Okay.
And
I did want to say to the viewers, because everyone was talking about your house dress.
Yeah, listen, I was taking kids to school. I mean,
every mama got a house dress.
You know, that's my favorite one.
Okay, listen, my mom had a house dress. I got a house dress. My husband be like, "Can you take off that house dress and that scarf?" No.
I'm at home.
Okay, I'm at home. This is how you look. Mm-hmm. I walked in, I said, "Whoa, like you." I could tell you grew up in the church.
I did all my life.
You look like you're part of the Price family, like that. Not the you know, but you clean up well.
Thank you.
So a lot, yeah.
No, never been. I'm just playing.
No, you look amazing. So I just want to say, I walked in and like this is you. You know, your children are home.
Yes.
And you've agreed to fly, you know, to New Orleans to do this sit down with me. So I really appreciate that. I did want to tell you that you look good. This is how you know what I'm saying. So everybody can't look like this when you got children.
Yeah,
you know. Now, before we get into, you know, the I guess the frustration of why you made that video, how did you meet the Jakes?
I met Cora in 2000. I was 10 years old. We had went to the church for something, and this is before all of the new building was built, and they used to have new members orientation out in tents outside.
Okay.
So that's where I initially met her. I think one of our old church members had joined the church that Sunday, and we went with them. But we didn't join the church at that time. We actually joined the church 2 years later when I was 12, and I met her again at New Members Orientation. Okay. And we became friends.
At the Potter's house?
Mm-hmm. Okay. From there.
Yeah. Did your families live close?
No, my family stayed approximately 28 to 30 miles away from Dallas, but me knowing the home that Cora grew up in Dallas Fort Worth, we probably was maybe 10, 15 minutes away growing up. But yeah, that's how we met.
Okay.
That's how our friendship started.
Okay. So did it start, I know you said it took 2 years for you guys to initially join the church. So your mom was going to church with you, and
yeah, my mom was going to church with me. We in 2000 when we started visiting the church, so we would visit often, and every time I visit, Cora will always be in you know help. Well, they used to always walk around church, but she was always drawn to the children in the children's ministry. So I would see her there a lot and often at church.
Okay.
So
around helping with the kids.
The kids, or, you know, just being a pastor's daughter.
Okay. Now, in your video, you said that you came from like humble beginnings. And I want you to elaborate on that, because I feel that sometimes, you know, when you're friends with a pastor's daughter, her lifestyle is a lot different from mom going to work, working 9 to 5.
Right.
Okay. Mom is not getting donations. Mom works for every single dime. And I know sometimes it can make a child feel as if, you know, we're struggling a lot more than the next person. But Cora's lifestyle was extreme.
Yes.
Okay. So we can't, I personally feel we can't compare the two.
No, you
but
can't.
because that is an extreme way of living.
Yeah.
And not everyone lives like that as children. My kids don't even live like that. So, you know, when you say humble beginnings, did you mean like a rough childhood? Poor childhood?
We didn't grow up with a lot of money. My mom was a single parent. I grew up in a single parent household. My dad died when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
My mom also has lymphedema in her legs, and it's basically where the fluid system breaks down and doesn't work properly. And so she wasn't able to, you know, stand for long periods of time. So that means that she wasn't really able to work. And Yeah. So,
you had a moment.
Yeah.
What'd you remember?
Just
It's okay. It's okay.
You know, sometimes I can be really hard on my mom, but when I take time to think back, you know, on the struggles that I realize now was struggles, because when you're young, you don't know that it's a struggle, you know. My mom did all that she could do with what she was given, and I have to take a moment to thank her. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't apologize.
I have to take a moment to thank my mom. She tried to give us what she, you know, essentially didn't have, because her mom died when she was 13 or 14 years old. And I just want to thank my mama. But yeah, we didn't grow up with silver spoons. My mom did teach me about hard work and being a hard worker, but we moved around a lot. Things were fine up until my dad died. When my dad died, that's when I kind of understood that, you know, we wasn't as privileged as other people around us, because I guess that's when things became real for my mom, because that help wasn't there anymore, you know. And so yeah, but even with growing up from that, my mom always did try to expose us to better things and a better way of living, and that is more to the world, and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I grew up, my mom on disability, and that was the income. And after my dad died, of course, he was a veteran, and so, you know, when you have children and they die, they give you money a month. So we had that, but that's what life was. I didn't stay in a house until I was like 8. Before then, it was like apartments or family members' homes. And I think between maybe 7 or 8, we moved into our home. And I think we stayed there for like 4 years. And then we ended up having to move back with family and friends, and then got a place to stay, and then, you know, back with family and friends. So it was a bit of a struggle. It was a bit of a struggle growing up, for sure. But
did you feel it was a struggle?
I didn't feel it.
Okay.
I think subconsciously I knew, because I remember going to school and saving my lunch so I could bring it home to my mom, so my mom could eat. Because I would remember her saying, you know, y'all eat, mama gonna be okay, but never remember seeing her eat, you know. So I remember doing that, going to school and saving my lunch or saving even my breakfast so I could bring it home so my mom can eat. So yeah, that's humble beginnings. Opening the refrigerator, it's nothing but some sugar water, syrup sandwiches. So yeah, but she always instilled in us that, you know, to grow up and be better and do better than she was able to do. So.
Wow. What type of student were you?
I was a AB honor roll student. I love science. I love history. I didn't like math, but I was good at it, so it is what it is. I took all honor classes. I came out of high school at 16. Education was very important in our household, and yeah, and I've always been a student, so I've always had that aspiration to learn and to know and to be knowledgeable and stuff like that. So I excelled in school.
Okay.
Yeah, I excelled in school.
How many siblings?
My mom only had 3 children biologically. Now she's got a plethora of godchildren. But it's me and my sister Shalonda and my brother Shelton. I have an older brother named Jason from my dad. That's who my son is named after. And he died when I was 4. So my mom has 3 kids. My dad had 2 kids. So altogether it's 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 5 of us.
So you're at the church. Do you feel like your mom turned to the church because she was at her wit's end, or she just kind of wanted to put you into a positive space? You know, for me, going to church, it was more so.
My mom got saved when she was 21 in 1989, same year I was born. So I've literally, like since birth, grown up in the church. Before we went to the Potter's house, we went to a church in my hometown where I was born, not raised, but in Fort Worth. And it's a church called the Church of Philadelphia. Pastor Gregory W. Spencer was the pastor at the time. He's no longer here with us now. And that was my church home. And I grew up in that church. I started dancing in that church. It was a non-denominational church. And my fondest memories of church is from that church. And that was a great experience. That was a really great experience.
I was going to tell you, because you have all the church mannerisms. The way you speak, your hair, your makeup. It's a look. It's a really nice look. But you can tell, look, you coming to somebody's court with a purse.
Yes,
you mean business. Listen.
Yes.
So you and Cora, you're at the Potter's house. You and Cora are becoming friends. You guys are linked. Did you guys get really close really fast?
We did get really close really fast. We had, I don't know, it was just we clicked. We clicked. And I'm not a person that sees beauty outwardly. It's definitely inside out.
The shade, child, I love it.
You know, she's her daughter's her father's child.
She is her father's child. She really is. Listen.
And so we clicked, you know, and I truly loved her. And that was truly my friend. Well, I was truly her friend. I didn't want anything from her. I wasn't her friend because of who her dad was, or she was the pastor's daughter, because I don't know. I think I've always known my calling. I've always been self-aware of who I am and whose I am. So it didn't matter to me. Like, a celebrity status is not a celebrity status to me. You're a person. We talk about Beyonce. That's a different situation. But to me, you're a person. So that I was never intrigued by the level of popularity that they had. This was my friend. I've been knowing her since a young girl, you know, so she was my friend. I was her friend. We were friends. We were sisters.
So you stayed over her house a lot?
Stayed over her house.
She stayed over your house?
No.
Why is that?
She didn't stay over because my mom is a different type of mom. My mom is very strict. Well, her grandkids have helped her to be a little bit more lenient. But growing up, I grew up in a strict household. Like, I didn't know what a crackhead or a prostitute was. Like, I didn't know what a dope dealer, a drug dealer. Like, I didn't know all I knew was church and school, you know. And, like, I didn't even know I had a body. I didn't know really I really didn't know about sex. I grew up very protected, very shielded. Like, my mom moved us from Fort Worth to Dallas, Duncanville, which is a suburb of Dallas, you know, when I was 12. So that's what I grew up around. I grew up in a suburban community from 12 up until 17. I didn't know what it was to be promiscuous. I didn't know excuse me, I didn't know anything outside of church and school and home. That's all I knew.
But as far as staying over there, was it your mom saying you can't stay?
We didn't have nobody. We couldn't have sleepovers.
Okay.
We couldn't do the sleepovers. She didn't like, I don't know, and I think...
I'm shocked she let you stay over there.
Well, because she knew them. I had been friends with Cora, and this is a church that we go to, and this is the pastor, you know, so that puts it on the field, a playing field of, I know that you will be safe, or I trust that you will be safe over there where you can go, because it's not many places that I could go sleep over. Like I could go over my friend DJ house and sleep over there sometimes. Okay. And Cora, but I really, I couldn't really sleep at people's house either. So.
Okay. So she only allowed like 2
certain people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 because I'm friends with their moms.
Yeah, and I'm like that with my kids now. Yeah. I'm very old school parenting.
I understand that. Growing up, I wasn't allowed to spend the night anywhere. I never knew what it was to spend the night outside of my own bed. So surprising I'm letting my daughter do it. So. Yeah.
I know my daughter asked me too, and I was like, I don't know about that, Cree. I don't know her mama. I don't know, girl. Just gonna stay here with mama.
I understand. Yeah. So you and Cora, of course you're going over to have sleepovers. Mm-hmm. Her house, I guess, was probably insanely different. Big.
Yes, you have the big house, which is where Bishop and First Lady, I guess the headquarters is what I call them. And you know it's big when they say it's a property. Yeah. And then you have the guest house, which is which was Cora and Sarah's house. Okay. Which was like a I think it was either 2 or 3 bedrooms, because I think Malachi room was over there as well. But I know it had 2 bathrooms. It had a full equipped kitchen, a big living
So her
space.
Kids stayed separate.
Yeah, they didn't stay in the same, although both houses are on the same property. Yeah. They did not stay in the same house.
What kind of shit is that?
Oh, you know, you got money. Your children grow up different. But yeah, and they have a barn on the property as well. Okay. And then they have the house, or whatever you want to call it, where it's like where you get your hair done, your nails and your feet and stuff like that. Like a space for beauty. Okay. As well on the property. So it's a pretty mansion.
Maids, you know.
Maids, they have chefs, they have all of that. Drivers, it's a security guard at the front of the gate when you come in on their property. So yeah.
Okay, and I'm sure all of their members aren't living on that type of.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I mean, I listen. I mean, people do things differently. I just can't. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
They had golf courts. Like you drive. That's how big it is.
So as a child, like, were you taken away by that kind of stuff? Like, were you like, dang? Like,
I would always go and be like, man, I wish, I wish I had my own room. I wish I could. I wish.
Own house. That's not her own room. That's own
house. Right.
Like she had a house separate from her parents' house
up.
At
that time, I would take my own room.
Yeah. I don't even let my daughter stay in her room and close the door. Yeah. Let alone having a guest house for my kids.
Yeah. And Cora's favorite flower is a tulip. So Bishop or First Lady, I'm not sure which one, did a tulip garden in front of the house. And it's probably still there, but yeah.
So they still live in this house?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
Bishop and First Lady, as far as I know, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, that's different. Yeah. It's very different. I know people are like, they got money, but I'm not living separate from my kids. What were the dynamic? What was the dynamic between the Jakes, TD and Sarita, and her kids? Like, did you see a lot of direct parenting going on?
No. First lady will only come to the guest house if it was somebody there that she didn't like one of their friends that she didn't like or she didn't approve of, or just to pop in and be nosy. But, most of the time they're in their quarters. They're in there, and, Cora and Sarah in their quarters. Dexter did live in the big house with his parents, though, because Dexter is the youngest. When I was going to the property, Jermaine and Jamar was not living there. So they had already left the ground because they're older. Okay. They're older than Sarah and Cora, so yeah.
Okay. Now, I guess we could say, and this, I'm sure this ain't got nothing to do with you, but, I did see the Dr. Phil segment with Sarah and with Cora. And now we can understand why there were so many pregnancies going on. Because when you have young girls like that and they're able to have that much freedom, what you're saying, like, I can see how it could be real easy for them to, engage in certain practices because they don't have that parental guidance or control. They're kind of able to do what they want. And from some of the things that you alleged, because you were pretty close to Cora, and I did see like the Dr. Phil segment with Sarah and Cora saying that she had wrote a letter to her mom.
Yes, that is a thing
to say that Sarah was pregnant at 13, and it's like, how you write a letter to your mom? So now it's making sense. Like, your mama couldn't see that her daughter was pregnant, or
they hid their pregnancy until Sarah was over the term to get an abortion, where she wasn't able to get an abortion. That's how long they hid the pregnancy.
And she was 13.
Okay.
And this is the Jake's middle daughter.
Their youngest
daughter before Dexter. Before Dexter. Okay.
Yeah, because Sarah is younger than Cora.
So she's living in the guest house. She's pregnant. And Cora Jakes, the one who you allege stole your baby, has to write a letter to mom and send it to the main house to say she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And well over. So I'm thinking, like, if you waited till way after you were able to do it, until after an abortion, obviously you're not parenting your children. I don't check my daughter like that.
I mean, I have a 15-year-old, so I'm definitely all up in her business.
I'm all up in my child's business. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she was, I would know. My daughter wear half shirts and she started covering up. What the hell?
What's going on?
Listen, my daughter wears half shirts. If I ever see her covered up,
what's going on? Why you got to take it on? You high? Take it off. I don't know. Yeah.
So you smell your kids when they walking out with you? What you been doing? Who you been around? So that I can now, that segment of Dr. Phil makes absolute sense, because you were there, So Sarah's pregnant. Now, at this time, because you had alleged in your video, and I have to say allegedly on my end because I'm not there. However, I know for, that because you were there, a lot of this stuff, this is what you saw. You know what I'm saying?
What I saw.
You said
and heard.
Yeah. Cora Jakes was pregnant.
Yes.
And a few times.
Cora, I don't know about a few times.
Okay.
I do know that she was pregnant, and I do know that she got an abortion, and I do know that that is why she became infertile. She wasn't diagnosed with PCOS until she was 22. She said it was from a car wreck, but that's not. Like, she said that she found out from a car wreck when she was 22 that she had PCOS.
Isn't that polycystic ovarian syndrome or something?
Yeah. But I lived with Cora in 2007.
How old were you at the time?
2007, I was 17.
Okay.
I also She was born in 87. I was born in 89. So Cora is only 2 years older than me. So if I was 17, she was 19.
Perfect. Okay.
I lived with Cora then, and she used to always complain about the cyst on her ovaries. So I don't understand how you found out when you were 22, when you were 19, talking about the cyst popping on your ovaries.
Okay. So during the time that you're staying at the Jake's house, you know, you're a teen and 13-year-old sister's pregnant. At what age did Cora get pregnant? Jake,
she was dating. See, she was dating this guy at the church. That's like my brother. Okay. I don't know. Probably between 15, 16. Okay. 17 maybe. Because they dated for almost 2 years, her and Nick. Okay. So probably I'm going to assume around that time frame. But it is a fact that she was pregnant. It is a fact that she had an abortion. And it is a fact that is why she is barren.
Now, you did say that she tells a story, or she told a story, I guess, while preaching one day about, or I don't know if she was preaching or not, don't quote me for that, but it was in your video when you were sitting in the car and you were getting very, very blunt about a lot of the things that you have witnessed and known because you grew up with this family. That she tells a story that she was bleeding somehow, walking through a crowd, and she had been, you know, I guess allegedly raped, but it was a fake story.
She can drum up a story, boy. I tell you, listen. And back then, you would hear the extravagant stories she would say, and you'll just be like, "Wow, whoa, I can't believe that happened." But then as you get older, you're like, "That heifer was lying. It ain't no way that could have happened. Yeah. She said that she was, and I'm not the only one that heard this out of her mouth. You have Ashley. You also have Monet. Okay. And who are they? Ashley. We were all mutual friends.
Oh, okay. So it was a group of you guys.
Yes, okay. It was a group of us, and it was another guy by the name of Luther. And it was another guy by the name of Sir Charles who was there. And we was at DeSoto Ranch Apartments in DeSoto, Texas, because that's where we were staying. And we were just talking about, you know, just past experiences that we've experienced, you know, growing up, or just, you know, like sister conversations. Okay. And she began to tell this elaborate story of how Bishop was having a gala or something like that. And
her dad?
Yes, her dad. Okay. He was having a gala, and how she had got raped in the bathroom, and how blood was just everywhere. My clothes was just ripped off my body, and I just walked through the crowd. That's how she said it. Okay. And I just walked through the crowd, and no one even noticed me. No one even noticed me. And we just sitting there like, damn, that's fucked up. You know, like your dad, because the point of her saying that is we were talking about fathers, and we were talking about, you know, I love my dad. You know, he died when I was 10, but my dad made his mark in my life. At 10 years old was the only time, from 10 to now, has been the only time that I've not seen my daddy, not talked to my daddy, you know, because he's dead. Right. My dad has always been in my life, you know, so I think I was going through a moment of missing him. Mm-hmm. And then my friend Ashley's dad is wasn't really in her life, and her mom had just died earlier that year in May. Mm-hmm. And May 12th. 2007 is when her mom died. And R.I.P. Auntie Jennifer. But and then Monet, because she's put this out here, her dad is also her uncle. So we were sitting talking about, you know, fatherhood and fatherhood relationships. And Cora was making the statements of how her dad is always traveling, so he's not always really around, and how she just feels like he doesn't notice her. And how she feels that he always give into Sarah and whatever Sarah wants, but he just doesn't notice her. And then she went into the story about being raped.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was going to say, because it sounds like a cry for attention.
Yeah, she has a lot of those cries for attention.
Now, in your experience, did you ever see Bishop Jakes around his kids or parenting his kids?
I've never seen him parent the children.
You want to learn how to drive your man or woman wild and keep them coming back? Listen, Divine Secrets will have them leaving the rivers and the lakes that you used to. It's odorless and tasteless, and they'll never know the difference and know that this is lube at all. All you gotta hope for is that you can last as long as this product. I want you to use it at your own risk, because I guarantee you they're going to be blowing up your phone and won't leave you alone now. Now, I want you to click off this video and slip on over to DivineSecretsXOXO.com to experience a product that is truly one of a kind. Don't go chasing waterfall. But I want you to chase this waterfall.
I was placed in this hospital room for high blood pressure complications. I did everything my doctors told me to do, including taking the prescribed medications, which I've been on for years, but I still ended up here. When I got out, I learned about my olive leaf, an all-natural extract that got my hypertension under control. Don't continue to drug yourself into becoming healthier. Go to myoliveleaf.biz to learn more.
Belle's Secret. Following a routine paired with Belle's Secret all-natural and hydrating, plant-based brightening facial wash and moisturizer, acne eraser kits, black soaps, detox masks, and much, much more, you can rid yourself of dark spots, acne, and dry skin using Belle's Secret Gold Skin Collection. Your skin is the first part of your body everyone sees, and hydration is essential to keeping your skin healthy and slows down aging. Shop bellsecret.org for all of your plant-based skincare products now using the link below. What in the fuck is a carbonation? Who want to answer?
Before there was a white man here, we existed.
People calling y'all a cult. They're calling y'all brainwashed. They're calling y'all weak. They're calling you crazy, delusional. You're being held against your will. You're not eating. You're malnourished. Rumors of HIV and STDs. What in the fuck is a carbonation?
Caesar has returned.
Women are electrons, we're movements. We're going to move through what his mind tells us to do. We're going to do that, and we're going to collectively know, like, okay, check.
You can become the master of your reality.
And how do you get people to follow you immediately? Master teacher. Never heard a black guy refer to himself as master teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, what warrants you to carry that title?
He was ordering you to slap the girls.
Bitch gonna take your place. You looking weak.
I went up against Oya. I'm Oshun. I went up against Oya, and I fought, and I won that battle.
So you would date a transgender?
Yeah. As long as they look like the female, not the man, not the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones? You know the cheap ones.
What's shaking up in you?
So you didn't really see that father-daughter interaction.
Right.
Like, you know, my daughter's friends can definitely see an interaction with dad. Dad's picking her up from the mall. Dad's, you know what I'm saying, around.
Oh, no. Bishop is not picking up. It's Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't witness it.
Okay. So, in your opinion, as one child who's had a father, who knows what it's like to have a father there, do you feel like he was a father to his children?
Not from what I've witnessed. Not from the time that I spent at their house when they went off to move individually outside of their covering. Yeah, I don't.
So
I
he
don't
never
see
came
it.
over to the guest house and say, "Hey, I want to see what y'all doing. I'm playing today."
No, when I was there.
He didn't come sit by the pool with y'all and nothing.
Not when I was there.
He didn't come have dinner with y'all.
They didn't have dinner over there. They had dinner at the main house, and they had a chef. And sometimes they would go sit in. But see, Cora's guests, depending on who you were allowed to go over there. And depending on who you weren't. So
you mean to tell me the kids could have company on the property, and the kids as teenagers are living in a guest house, and they could have other children over, but those children weren't allowed to come
to the main house.
Depending
on who you were.
To meet the parents.
I've been to the main house. I've been in the main house. I can tell you, I still know it to this day. You enter in, the kitchen's right here. Yeah. You have the piano. You have the open space here. You go down this way. That's Bishop and First Lady's room. Okay. Then you have the steps, and it's like it's open, so you can see, and it's around. Yeah, black marble countertops in the kitchen. I don't know if it's still like that now, but it was then.
That's interesting that they could have children over, but some of the children weren't approved to come to the main house.
And I don't know if that was a rule set by First Lady or if that was just Cora and Sarah's doing. But they always blamed everything on their parents anyway, so we'll never know. But we definitely, everybody was not allowed to go over to the main house. Now, when we would come, we would be greeted, but we wouldn't be greeted by Bishop. We would be greeted by First Lady. That's when Sarah would let it be. That's when Cora would let it be known that we were there. And then a lot of times she would sneak us on property because First Lady would shut the property down because of their behavior.
Okay. That's different. Well, like I said, that's a very extreme way of living. So, okay. Now let's get into your kids. You have how many children?
I have 5.
You don't look like you have 5
Thank
kids.
you.
I was like, you know how you're supposed to have kids.
Yeah.
And don't get mad. I hope the viewers don't get mad at me when I say that. Well, you can have a child, you can pop back like you ain't never had no kids.
Good
know,
genes.
the genes.
Good genes.
Like, you look like you ain't had a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got more stomach than you. I'm like, I got 2 kids, so.
Definitely good genes. But Lord knows I don't work out.
No, I'm telling you. So, you are, when did you have your first baby?
I was 17.
Okay.
I was 16 when I got pregnant.
Okay.
Didn't even know I was pregnant. And then when I was pregnant until I was 5 months. I didn't even understand pregnancy.
Okay.
Didn't, mind you, I was very protected. So how I ended up even having sex was because of the people around me, including Cora.
Oh.
And I was dating my friend, his name is Michael. I was dating him, and that's how it happened. I was 15 years old when I had sex for the first time, and I was 16 when I became pregnant, and I was 17 when I had my daughter.
Okay.
My oldest daughter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then second baby.
Oh, honey, I think I was 20, 21.
Okay.
They're like 5 years apart.
All of them? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't.
No. Just for, that's a lot of things we got to address because when people see, you're obviously very young, you're very beautiful, and they're like, oh, she has 5 kids, like what happened? How do you get 5 kids? And
very fast.
You're not married, and people just start conjuring up, these ideas, and so that's why it's like it's just putting it all on the table because trust me, like every girl that I know that was raised sheltered has a baby.
Yeah. That's what happens. That's why I'm raising mine different.
Yeah. I get my daughter some freedom
space,
to go, and when she go, I'm like, and remember.
Yes. I have a tracker on the phone. Yes. I know, honey, but gift.
Yeah.
But yes, I was 21 when I had my oldest son, Jadon.
Okay.
And me and his dad were together for probably like 4 years. Okay. So all my children outside of my oldest, I was in long-term relationships.
Okay.
And yeah, so I had Jadon when I was 21. I had Cree. Jadon was in 11. Cree was in 13. And I had Jason, I want to say when I was 24.
Okay.
24 years old. I was 23, 24 when I had Jason, and I was 26. Jason was born in 14. Liam was born in 16. So yeah, I was between 26 and 27 when I had my youngest. So yeah, I was, I had my babies, and Liam was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. So, obviously each relationship has its own, ups and downs, like they all do. Mm-hmm. How are you and Cora's, how's you and Cora's relationship while you're having children? She's not. Were you guys still close as you're getting older and you're having children? No. And you're in relationships?
No. I stopped being Cora's friend 2008.
Okay.
Probably going into 2009, I completely cut the friendship off because I got tired of being lied on by her, to her parents, and to, whoever that she could stay out of trouble. She'll always lie on me and my friend Ashley and even Monet. And I got tired of being the source of the laughter. I got tired of her mom accusing me of her daughter's behavior. And I just said, I don't want to do this.
What type of behavior would she accuse?
She played first lady. When I was 15 years old, I went to Cora and Sarah's prom, and it was witnesses there. So they can't say that it's a lie because people still remember to this day. After they came and picked us up from school, number one. Me and my friend BJ, her name is Billy Ross.
Okay.
It was Billy Sanders, but she got married, so it's Billy Ross now. Came and picked us up from Duncanville High School, and this was in 2005. They came and picked us up from Duncanville High School. We went to their house in where they stay. I don't want to give out their location.
No, you don't have to do
that.
But
where they're staying, DFW.
Okay.
And we get there, we go to hair and makeup, we all get our nails and our feet done, and everything is fine. We're laughing, we're talking. And I'm kind of really excited because this would be the first initial meeting of me actually meeting Bishop face to face. Mind you, he never came over to the house.
So you at this man's house, and this will be your first time meeting Bishop T.D. Jakes in person.
When I was 15.
And going to his church.
Yeah, and I had been going to the house since I was like 13, 14 years old. It's crazy. When you think back on it, it's like, man, that's crazy.
Normal.
That's not normal.
That's not fucking normal.
But yeah, I was 15 years old. And now, mind you, I'd seen him in church, wave high, but formally having a conversation. And then to also remind, I grew up in the church. So my mom loved T.D. Jakes Ministries. Oh, Juanita Bonham, that is her girl. Okay. Listen, we're not even going to go there.
Okay.
And so we moved to Dallas because of T.D. Jakes Ministries. Okay. So I've grown up on the Woman Thou Loose tapes. I grew up on his first, when Bishop Carter Pearson was still a part of the Christian community, the one who put Bishop T.D. Jakes on at Azusa. I grew up on those things. So when my dad died, I used to listen to a lot of T.D. Jakes sermons. I used to listen to a lot of T.D. Jakes. They also had the music,
right?
And I developed a lot of who I am from those sermons and those things, and I had always looked up to him as a father figure, because my dad was a teacher, not like a teacher, but a teacher of life.
So you saw fatherly qualities in his sermons.
Never anything lustful. Like I said, I didn't even know about those things. I was blind, protected. I was, not. When I was 10, I was 10. When I was 12, I was 12. I wasn't 12 saying I was 16 and 17.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't have any thoughts of, ooh, Bishop's fine, or ooh, I want to, some people do. But
T.D. Jakes is fine. Like, wait,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
It's okay.
But yeah.
But I can understand that. As a child, you're like, wow, I finally get to. Thank you. I got water on the chair. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. So
yeah.
You're tired of being lied on. You're excited about meeting T.D. Jakes. So what happened? Like, why did?
That was the first. When we came out to take pictures, to leave to go out to prom, Bishop came out to take pictures with all of us, and so this is the house right here.
Okay.
So we're out on the property here.
Okay.
And First Lady and more people are here, and maybe some more people here. Well, Bishop comes and stands right here next to me. I can't remember who was on the other side here, but I know I was here, and I think BJ was here. And I'm like, I'm excited because I've literally, you don't even know how you have impacted my life just from being 10 to 15. That's only 5 years. But the type of guy friend, if I was to have a guy friend, I will model it after Bishop.
Yeah.
And so he's right here, and you know how you lean over?
Okay.
That's all I did. I leaned over. In my head, my exact words was, "Oh my God, I finally get to meet somebody I've looked up to." My exact words. I never thought anything else.
Okay.
As soon as I leaned over, First Lady comes and is like, "Get your hands off my husband, you Jezebel." And just went off. It just went off.
I was not expecting that.
She did. That lady went off on me. That lady went off on me. That lady when I was 15, I will never forget this as long as I live.
I didn't expect you to go that place with the story, because you was like, I'm tired of being lied on.
Yeah, that was in 2008.
Okay.
So this was in 2005. So that was 3 years later. This incident with First Lady happened in 2005.
So she came to a 15-year-old.
Yes, I was 15. And told me that I had the spirit of Jezebel on me, and that I need to get her hands off her husband right now.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. I mean.
And you guys are about to.
We're just taking pictures.
And you just kind of leaned in.
I leaned in. I leaned in like this. I think I might have put my hand right here.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, but I just leaned in, like a little girl taking a picture with her daddy. Like it wasn't lustful. I think First Lady was intimidated by my beauty and my curves at that time, but I wasn't even aware of my beauty and my curves. I wasn't aware. I didn't grow up to be stuck up. I grew up to always remain humble and to keep a pure heart, and so I've carried that with me even from a young girl. So
after
and she sent me home. She let me go to the prom, but she sent me home, kicked me out when we all came back. kicked me out, told me I had to go, sent me home in a limo. It was the male driver. Sent me home in the limo at 1 o'clock in the morning to my mom's house. I could not stay.
Miss Jakes.
Sarita. And I think it's her middle name, Jakes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That happened.
Right. That is
That definitely happened.
No, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
And my daughter is she's a beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm.
Her friends are never in my mind would I think
that's not normal, right?
Little girls. Where was her mind?
I don't know.
So where did she get that from?
I don't know. I don't know, ma'am. I can tell you that to this day. I could only make assumptions of why she would feel that way, of why she would... me being a woman now and me having the relationships with men that I've had now, to me, that's insecurity. To me, that says that it has been something that has happened in your marriage that has caused you to be insecure of another woman, let alone another teen, to even... What makes that come across your mind? I don't know.
That's what makes me think like you're a teenager and he's a grown man.
He's a grown man.
Very grown.
A grown man.
Very grown. And what did Mr. Jake say? What did TD say when she said, "Get your hands off my husband"?
He laughed. Like, I don't think he thought she was serious, or I don't think he really knew what was going on.
Did he move?
No, he didn't move because she came. She didn't just say it. Like, she came down the steps to get to me. And she's yelling as she's walking. She stared me down the whole time we was at the prom. Like, I felt so humiliated, so embarrassed, so hurt, so distraught. Then you sent me home in a limo at 1 o'clock in the morning with your driver, and the driver telling me, it's funny you brought up the letter thing. The driver telling me, well, you should just write her a letter. She understands it. She might understand it more when you write it in a letter. So I wrote a letter. It took me years to write it, but I finally wrote a letter.
You wrote a letter to her?
I did.
What did you say to Miss Jakes?
That I was not coming on to... She
traumatized you.
Yeah. I said I was hurt and I've never thought of bitch. And do you know I carried that weight for a long time, even with still going to the church. Even with still going to the church, I still carried that because I felt like she made me feel like I did something so horribly wrong.
Wow. That is definitely a different type of behavior.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's okay. And that was the last time you had an interaction with Mr. Jakes?
That wasn't the last time.
Okay.
I had an interaction with him, but that's one that sticks out the most because of how it made me feel.
So you had another?
I've had several since then, but it's not any type of conversation. It's just, hey, Bishop, how you doing?
Okay,
that's it.
And did he come to give you a hug or anything?
I never would give, even to this day, because of that incident.
Okay. All right. So it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's move into why we're here, because I just wanted you to establish the foundation, and I think we covered a lot, like almost an hour worth of just the foundation. Now let's get into your baby. Okay.
Jason.
What's your baby's name?
His name is Jason Lamont Caleb Brown.
Okay. How old is Jason now?
He's 8. He just turned 8 on May 21st.
Okay. And you were how old when you had Jason?
Oh, let's see. He was born in 2014.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably like 23, 24.
Okay.
Around that area.
All right. So, and he's been under the care of Cora Jakes for how many years?
Without me being involved, since I would say 2017.
And how old was he at the time?
3.
3. Okay. And so, you know, because in your video, you know, you gave us some parts, but now that your foundation makes a lot more sense as to why your baby would be around Cora.
Yeah, it was my friend. I've known her for a long time. At that time, 2014, and I've known you since 2000. So that's 14 years. It's 14 years I've known you.
Okay.
You know, regardless of me leaving and cutting off the friendship, you know, I would still be cordial. We would still be cordial, still call each other sis. And but I just felt it was necessary for me to do that because I didn't like the stigma that was being placed on me by her to cover her, because she want to sleep around and she want to do all these other things that, you know, I don't know, my mama would kill me.
Typical wild pastors.
Yes.
Child. Okay.
Yes.
And I listen, and I know there's probably a lot of pastors' children watching.
Yes.
But, you know, it is more of a stereotype, but most of the time it is true.
It is
pastors' children are a bit.
It was definitely true.
Wild.
Cora.
I was just with Eddie Long, Bishop Eddie Long's son, and he was talking about how rebellious he was as you know, as the son of a pastor and stuff like that. And, you know, I've grew up with them, and they are a bit more risque.
Yes, they are.
than the normal child. Like, you want to do what? Oh, no, you can go. Yeah, you know, and they typically would get away with it. So I don't see that as a far-fetched statement that you're making. It makes a lot of sense. Now, you're out of an abusive relationship, you say. Okay. Now, when you were pregnant from your video, and correct me if I'm kind of mixing it up.
Not abusive, but he left, my kid's dad left me for a stripper.
Okay.
And I was pregnant at the time, and I had not too long ago given birth to my 3rd child. Before Jason, because Cree and Jason are 10 months apart.
Okay.
So they're very close in age there. And he did do that. He did choose to say that he no longer wanted to be with me and continue with the family unit, and that he would rather be where he was.
Okay.
And
so did he help with the kids? Did he relinquish, I guess, the relationship that he had with his children?
I think that verbally he didn't.
Okay.
But action-wise, he did for a time period.
So you were left with how many kids when he?
I was left with 3 kids and pregnant
with your 4th. The baby that Cora conspired to take from you.
Yes.
Okay. According to your story.
Yes.
So, he leaves you. Did he put you out the house?
He didn't put me out the house. We were kind of already, we had moved out of the townhome that we were staying in, and we had moved in with his mom.
Okay.
And I don't really believe his mom I think she tolerated me. I don't think she really liked me.
Okay.
And so
she liked the stripper.
I mean, I don't know their relationship. I don't know.
I'm sure she missed you when you left. Was she close to your child's father at the time?
Yes, that was her. She has 3 boys, and that's her oldest son.
Okay.
And we had moved in with her while we were trying to figure out, you know, where we were gonna go, where we, you know, gonna move, and they got into an argument. And I feel as though I'm not getting in between, you know, you and your mom. You and your mom arguing, I'm not going to say anything. But she decided that she wanted to bring the conversation to me. And I was like, oh, Miss, you know, I said her name. don't ask me, I'm not in that. And then she was like, well, you can get your shit and you can go. And
So she put you out.
Yeah, and I am my mother's child. You're not going to tell me more than once to leave, baby. So I called my mom, and that was after 4 years. I was living in Houston at the time. So from 2010 to about 2013, so like 3 years.
Okay. So you had 3 children. You were pregnant with 1, and she put you out.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that when you went to live with your...
No. She put me out when I was pregnant with Cree. So I had 2 kids and I was pregnant with Cree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your baby that you're fighting to get back.
Jason.
When you conceived him, where were you living?
I was living in Dallas, Fort Worth, but I had went to Houston for the kids to see their dad and to check up on some stuff that I had been seeing and hearing, and I wanted to know.
He was acting ass?
Okay. He was living a double life. Okay. And I wanted to know what was going on. So as a woman, I went, found out what was going on, and before finding out what was going on, of course, we had relations because that was still a man. And then I found out what was going on, and then I was just like, I just can't do this.
And this is with the stripper?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you come to live with Cora and having the baby? Did you go after you gave birth to?
When I got pregnant with Jason, I was actually staying with my brother and his kid's mom.
Okay.
At the time. And I just remember finding out I was pregnant, and with Jason I found out a little early on. So I was just stressed and depressed that whole pregnancy. Leaving the relationship, finding out what had been going on in the relationship, still trying to hold on to the relationship while going through being pressured to have an abortion, being questioned if the baby is the dad's or not. Just dealing with a lot of things, and so it made me feel like at the time my baby was a burden to me, right? Because I'm depressed, and I feel like well, maybe if I didn't get pregnant, since you're asking me or trying to pressure me to have an abortion, then maybe if I didn't get pregnant again, that, I would still somewhat have my family unit. And so I went through that feeling of that. And then me coming from where I come from, coming out of school at 16, going to college, I'm supposed to be acting and dancing around the world. I'm not supposed to be having all these kids,
So life just hit you.
Yeah, and I felt embarrassed, and I felt ashamed, and I felt, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? Because coming from my church home, the Potter's House, I was real active in church. I danced. I was on a drama team. I was on the youth ministry team. I was on rec team. Shout out, Pastor Kevin. I was rec team, and I've always, like I said, had a calling. So I felt like I had failed. I felt like I had allowed life to fall, and I felt like God just kept giving me babies because I kept doing the wrong things. And I'm like, now, well, other people don't get babies. Why I got it?
Yeah. So you got 3. You're pregnant with the 4th. You're in between living situations. The child's father is questioning whether or not it's his baby. He's dating a stripper. And you're just like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Okay. So when did you make the call to Cora?
I met up with Cora again in 2014. I believe it was April.
And you hadn't talked to her since 2008?
I hadn't talked to her since 2008, other than hi and bye, stuff like that. And before then, though, which is important for me to say, before this meeting, meeting her in 2014 again. Through the course of my first and second trimester, we had a mutual friend her name is Ashley Williams. And I'm sure Ashley will have communication with Cora about how I was feeling being pregnant. Mind you, this is the time where she's doing her IVF treatments. And I guess she would probably express to her how I was feeling. But Cora then would ask her, well, do you think she'll be willing to give the baby up? So this is why I'm pregnant. So when Ashley would bring that back to me, I'd be like, no, I just need some help. I've always known I don't want to give my child up. I just need some help, you know. And so the next time she would be like, well, do you think she would give her baby up to me? Like, give my baby up to her. Cora, this is what she's telling Ashley. And I'm like, so Ashley started like just stopping and like, Cora, no, she's going to keep her child. You know, she's just in a little rough space. Because, you know, I've worked Fortune 500 companies. I've always had a good job. Once I got on my own, my living situation has changed. So I just really hit a rough patch in life. And so it started there, you know, and then we met up again in 2014. So that was probably like in 2013. So we saw each other again in 2014 because I would take Ashley to and from Cora's house when she'll come in out of town. Okay. So in 2014, now this is Easter. Whatever Easter was in April, I think it was in April that year. We're at the Easter egg hunt. I see Cora. I woke up to Cora. She's a familiar spirit, you know. So, and at that time, I was so overwhelmed. I was so emotionally drained. I was so mentally and physically and spiritually depressed. Okay. And I just let it all out right there at the, you know, I'm mad at myself. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to have this baby because of X, Y, and Z, right? Not saying in a sense of, oh, I want to just, you know, I don't want to have my child. Of course I'm going to have my child, but I wish I wasn't pregnant at this present time, basically. And she was like, well, you know, gave her little encouragement words and then put a hand on my belly and prayed for me. We exchanged numbers. She said, call me if you need me. I'll always be here for you. Okay, cool. May 21st comes. The same day that I'm supposed to go to the doctor for the first time. I didn't have no prenatal care in their pregnancy. Just to give you an idea of how my mind was not, I was not there mentally. And I call her and I'm like, hey, Cora, I'm in labor. I have to go to the hospital, but I don't want to deliver my baby by myself because my mom had to stay home with my other children because I was living with my mom now. My mom had to stay home with my other children and their dad simply said he wasn't coming down, that he wasn't taking off to come down. So I called Cora. Cora, no problem, meets me at the hospital. Cora did cut Jason's umbilical cord. Now, I breastfed Jason as well. So Jason was breastfed for a good 4 or 5, 6 months. Okay. So I breastfed. I did the chest to chest. I breastfed, but I put him down. One, because of the detachment issues, because I know I immediately when it's postpartum depression. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Okay. And 2, I have other children. So I know that I'm not finna just hold this baby, right? Because I don't want the baby spoiled. Okay. You know, so I'll breastfeed Jason and I'll put him down. Okay. When I put him down, she'll pick him up. Oh. Mm-hmm. So, and she spent her whole time in the hospital holding Jason. The whole entire time she was there. Okay. I will only hold him when I'm breastfeeding him. Okay. And sometimes...
I mean, you're an experienced mom.
Yeah.
So
that too.
You don't...
that too. I actually had children.
A baby that, you know...
Yeah, holler, scream. No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
And so... yeah, and I remember her telling the nurses, because I was just emotional about everything. Everything made me cry. She'll tell the nurse she's going through postpartum depression. So Cora identified and knew before I knew. She's the one who kept telling me, Michelle, you are dealing with postpartum depression, and expressed that to the nurses. I don't know at one point this turned into obsession for her. I can say at the beginning, I really felt like she was, or it appeared that she was really there for me. So then my baby has to stay in the hospital. We go down to the NICU and we're talking to the nurse down there. She tells that nurse as well. She's dealing with postpartum depression. But she makes a statement to my aunt and says, oh, the baby, you don't have to worry about the baby. You don't have to worry about him. He's going to have whatever he needs. He's going to be well taken care of. When I look back at that statement, she never mentioned me. She never said they. She never said Michelle and her children. It was just Jason. And that's so profound to this day, because at whatever point it clicked in your head that you wanted my baby, you made it known by saying the baby is going to be okay.
Okay.
You know, and then from there, we went to Cora's house. Brandon, my first time meeting Brandon was when I had Jason.
And that's her husband.
And that's her ex-husband.
Ex-husband. Yes. Okay.
First time meeting him.
All right.
I had Jason.
So you're at the house. When did you move in?
I didn't move in with Cora until 2016.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I stayed there from January to probably June of 2016.
Now, as she's like picking up the baby, holding the baby, obviously getting attached to the baby, while you're really dealing with some real emotions, right? Postpartum is very real.
I didn't know
and
anything
it doesn't
about
mean
it
you don't
Jason.
love your baby,
right?
Because like you're such in a down and depressed mood. You don't even love yourself. It's like it's not that you don't love yourself. It's like the way you cannot control this hormone imbalance. Right. And I just think your hormones, as soon as you gave birth to that baby, everything that was going on in your life just dropped. Just dropped.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you were definitely in a vulnerable state of mind and everything like that. And so my heart really does go out to you because, you know, regardless of whether you got 4 kids, 1 kid, 2 kids, moms with 1 kid can get postpartum and feel detached from their baby.
No respect the person.
In reality, it doesn't have that. So, you know, using that as a weapon against you later on, that was really fucked up, you know, for her to do, because it still does not give you the right to take someone's child,
right?
You know, so let's get into your moved in. When did you move in? How old was Jason at the time when you moved in?
Jason was 2.
Okay, so you
turning 2. He turned 2 that May.
Did you make her the official godmother of your son?
Yeah, she was his aunt, and then his godmom. She went from aunt to godmom.
So she used to pick him up, come see him.
Yeah, yes. Jason would spend time with me when I was living at my mom's house. He would go to Cora's house, and then she started saying that he couldn't bounce back and forth like that. It didn't make sense to me at the time, because I'm like, well, if it was his dad, I would have to travel him back and forth like that. But she made it to where it saying, you know, it's not stable for him. He needs to be here. My place is more stable. I mean, look. And when I say look, she did. I mean, look around. He'll be more stable here, and then you can just always come over here, you know, until you get on your feet, you know, and I'll be here to help you with whatever you need.
Okay. So as a friend, someone that was your friend, you trusted, like, okay, well, Jason is close to her.
Jason is close. You are his godmom. I am trying to get on my feet. I do have these other children, you know, and I do need, at that time, he would need more attention than my other children, but I'm also trying to work, right? I'm also trying to provide a stable living, right? And have steady income to provide for the children that I'm now having to care for by myself.
Okay.
So the agreement was that she was going to help me while I got on my feet. That was the agreement. And went from that to Jason can't go back and forth between your house and my house. And went from that to her telling me that I need counseling. It went from that to her saying, do you really believe you had Jason for you? She put that in my head first, that I didn't have Jason for me. And then it went from that to her saying, you really need to see a therapist. You really need to do counseling. And I was like, well, I don't know what, therapist or counselor I could see or I could trust. And she was like, oh, I can counsel you. I can do it, because I'm part of the ministry at the church. So it was definitely something that was supposed to be, like that.
Okay.
And then that's when she was like, well, we can just record, the session. And at the time, I think she was writing her book, Faith in It.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, and then we can just put it a part of the Faith in It series. But me knowing now, that was just her way of having her paperwork, her paper trail. Because she had already set it up. She already knew what she was going to do.
So using all of that against you, things that you had told her as a therapist to use against you so that she could somehow build a case as to why you shouldn't be a mother to Jason.
And mind you, these are conversations after she has constantly emailed me about adoption, messaged me about adoption. Someone has convinced me that I did not have my son for myself. These recordings are after those conversations.
Okay.
So that's make that important. So
do you have documentation of her saying that she was going to be a therapist and these were recorded?
I don't have witnesses. She didn't. She said it out in the open. It wasn't something that was Brandon was there, Sean was there, Cora was there. Other people was there. It's not something that put me on a lot of
because I don't even see if she was acting as a therapist to you to get you to open up to tell you about.
And this is what she would do. She'd ask me a question, and I would answer the question on the MacBook, and why it recorded me, and she'll put it, who is Jason, who is Anaya, who is Cree, who is Jaden. Like she ran down my kids to me. Who are you? Asking me who am I, and so that's how she did it.
Okay. Wow. Jason is
a baby.
He's
okay. A baby at this time.
All right. Now, what type of things did you tell her in those sessions?
Who Jason was to me. I felt like he was my healing child because his name is Healer of the Land. Because of the things that she were putting into me, I was like, well, maybe I've always felt like Jason wasn't for me, that I had him for somebody else. And when I would say that, I would look to her. Those are the type of things that I said in that.
Just regular, saying what's on your heart.
Yeah.
Okay. But it wasn't you not saying I don't want my baby, or
no, not saying I don't want my baby.
I wish I never had him.
Not saying that I didn't love him. Not saying I wish I never had him. Just speaking on, who he means to me and who he is to me. But a lot of that was from the coercion of the things that she was already putting into my mind and into my spirit.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people who dwell in the talk dealing with hope use, and I call it the gift of persuasion, because a lot of people who are gifted in communication, who speak in front of large crowds, I think people forget the reason they're able to convince people to open their wallets or convince people to move in directions that they want to move in, or they're able to convince 30,000 people to come here every Sunday and work and do this and pour open their households. To me, it's because they dwell in the gift of persuasion.
Absolutely.
It is a very real thing.
It is a real thing.
And they have to encompass both male and female energies, which means that can be sex energy, that can be the energy of love, that can be the energy of just it can be the energy of anger. And so they're able to encompass all those energies and they're able to tap into you and persuade you to think about things that you never thought of before. And you'll think about it.
I never thought about abortion or adoption or giving my child up or that this baby is not for me. I just was like, man, I'm so embarrassed. I'm pregnant again. Those were my thoughts. It was never along those lines until Cora came back into my life.
Okay. Did you ever, just for the record, did you ever harm your baby?
No.
Did you ever neglect your baby?
No.
Okay. Did you ever express that you didn't love your baby?
No.
Okay. Did you ever say to Cora, you could have my baby?
No.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up for people to be like, well, how did she get your baby? Like, because I'm going to be honest with you. My mom was military. We got tired of living with her. This is just as an example. We lived with my aunt. Even though my aunt was considered legal guardian, she helped my mom out while she was traveling to help make it more stable for us. Because it was hard traveling with 3 kids. And so we were able to go to high school and go to middle school and, really just come home every day instead of changing up schools. So I do understand it does happen a lot between friends and family. So what you're doing is not out of the ordinary. But I did want to establish for anyone out there that's going to say that you were an unfit parent and that you hurt your baby, that is not the case.
No. Because if I'm unfit for one, then I'm unfit for all. Okay. Remember, Jason is the 4th born. Okay. It's 3 more before him, and there's 1 after him. So. Okay. All
right. Now, in the video, you did talk about, which I really didn't think was a big deal, smoking marijuana while you were pregnant. Okay. I personally don't think that's a big deal. People have alcoholic beverages. Now, do you overdo it and the child comes out with alcohol fetal syndrome?
And some women can't even eat unless they have that while they're pregnant. Right. And some doctors would tell them to continue until X amount of time, to help them get through their process of eating other nausea and stuff like that. That is a really real fact.
I do know doctors do prescribe medical marijuana to mothers who cannot keep any type of food down. So it's not like you were smoking crack or meth or anything.
No. I've never done any. In Texas, it's considered a drug, but we know it's a plant and it's a herb. Yeah. But I've never done any I've never shot my arm up. I've never done crack. I've never done cocaine. I've never done meth. I'm not a pill popper. I didn't even start at the time when I smoked weed. I didn't even start smoking weed until I was 21. Okay. So the whole time before then, most people start early. Okay. And that wasn't me, And I smoked more weed when I stayed or when I was friends with Cora than any other time in my life.
Okay. So Cora is an avid smoker. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. No, it's okay. So, and your baby came out healthy?
Healthy, fine. And even the doctors that they had subpoenaed came on stand to tell them, like, no, this baby was fine. And the baby didn't have any other drugs in the system. And the baby did not have any delayed birth development or anything like that. So, yes, that was,
All right. So I just want to establish, because she did make some accusations that you say were used against you in court, saying that you did confess to her that, or, you smoked weed while you were pregnant.
And that wasn't a secret, though, because it was a whole CPS case and she covered for me in the case. Okay. So that's why I didn't understand why she was trying to make that such a prominent thing when we were going through trial because you covered for me, you smoked it with me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't understand it.
How did CPS get involved?
Well, because when I didn't have any prenatal care, number one.
Okay.
The only prenatal care I had is when I felt like something was wrong, I go to the hospital because that's how far gone I was in my mind. Like, none of my children outside of Jason, I've always had prenatal care.
Okay.
Jason was the only one that I did not have prenatal care with because everything I'm dealing with, I'm really homeless in between houses. I really don't want to be pregnant with my fourth born. I feel like I am an embarrassment to my family and to my church family. So that's a double whammy there. And so, not that I didn't love him. I just felt like at that time, it wasn't a good time for me to be, pregnant.
I think most women watching this video will know exactly what you're saying.
Yes,
and even men.
Yeah,
okay? Because there's a lot of men out here.
Okay, period. They be mad when she get pregnant. But
right.
So that and she just took advantage of that. The whole thing. And
so she used the case against you.
She used the marijuana against me.
Okay.
So the CPS case came because I'm going to tell on myself. You're not going to get to tell on me. So the CPS case came because actually the nurse at the hospital called one of the nurses that was caring after me, who was very rude, who was very ugly, who was very mean-spirited towards me. So I ended up filing a complaint with the head charge nurse. So I think in return, she knew that if you're smoking weed while pregnant, in the meconium, I think it's called, they can test that and find out and see. So they did, and they called Child Protective Services. But Child Protective Services didn't show up until June.
Okay.
I left with my baby and everything.
Okay.
Did the car test with my baby, had to breastfeed my baby.
Okay.
I left with him and everything. And CPS came and Cora covered for me.
Okay.
She covered for me. And I had to take drug tests. I had to take a drug class. And I had to take a parenting class, which I completed everything. And they never took my kids from me. I've never had my children taken from me.
Okay. All right.
Never.
Good. Okay, good. So I love when people just put it out there because it's like, now you don't have a weapon to
use against me. I'm not going to give you that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're completing all your courses. Your kids are home. You're working. Jason, the youngest, the baby, is back and forth between your house and Cora's house. When does Cora say? Well, Cora did tell you he got to stay here. Like
that was in 2014. So that was probably July, August. Jason was just born in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So she started with her plan pretty early.
Okay. So it gets legal.
It gets legal when she lies and tells me that she needs paperwork for Jason to be able to fly with her, and that she just needs me to sign a notarized waiver saying that he can fly. And she had me meet her at a UPS, her and Brandon. And didn't read it, I'm like, okay, it's just for him to fly. And I signed it. But come to find out, so that was the first time. Then she was like, oh, we had to update the waiver and put some more information in there because we had a problem. I'm like, okay, whatever. Sign. Because mind you, this is Jason's godparents.
Okay.
The godparents step in when the mother is not able to. And I'm not going to deny my child to being able to travel, and see things and go places, that I can't afford him to do right now because I have to work,
Okay.
And so that's why I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't know that those papers were legal guardianship papers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely signed that without knowing that that's what that was.
So when she said we had to update them, did you have to meet her again to sign them?
I met her again. I believe I met her again. But I'm not sure that it was at a UPS store. I'm not sure.
But it wasn't never a talk about I'm giving you my baby.
No,
you can have my baby.
It was no. At that point, I was still adamant about, I don't want to give my baby up. I need help. I just need some help. I need some guidance. I need some therapy. I need some resources. A place to stay.
Okay.
And never not give my baby up.
Okay. So legal guardianship papers are signed, and she's legal guardian while you're living with her, and you didn't know.
Didn't know. I found out first trial discovery period, and they use those when they put those in as evidence. She started a paper trail on me in 2014.
Okay. How old was Jason at the time?
A baby.
Okay.
He wasn't even one.
Okay. So
close to one. She started from the moment she started buying him stuff. She kept every receipt of everything she bought him. And not for no taxes. Okay. Not to file as a write-off on her taxes.
Okay. So you're living at the house with her husband, your baby. Is she paying more attention to your baby than your other kids?
No, she's not paying attention to Jason at all. I'm taking care of Jason. I'm combing Jason's hair. I'm bathing Jason. I'm feeding Jason. I'm changing Jason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When Jason got up in the morning, he came straight down to the room that I was at.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so why did she want the baby if she didn't do nothing for the baby?
I think Cora likes the display. I think she has an obsession with babies, but not babies and toddlers, but not as they, get older.
And they need real. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you guys are.
I think she likes the idea of being a mom, but doesn't really know what it really takes to be a mom.
Okay. So you're living with her, you're taking care of your kids, cooking for your kids, cleaning after your kids, doing homework with your kids, going to work, and her kids.
Kid.
Okay.
Amari.
Because she has another adoptive
had Amari,
daughter.
yeah.
Okay. Where did she come from?
We don't know.
Okay.
It's not funny, but we don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
It's an Indian baby,
no,
right?
No, she's Mexican.
She's Mexican.
She's Hispanic. And she got adopted when she was 4.
Okay.
So
all right. That's interesting. Okay.
We don't know where Amari came from. She just popped up and Cora adopted her.
So she has Amari, and
I'm taking Amari to school. I'm helping Amari with her homework. I'm making sure the kids eat when she doesn't cook. Now Cora cook. I'm give her that. The girl can cook.
She look like she can cook.
She can cook now. Oh my God, them butter biscuits. Oh honey, and I'm gonna give her that. Okay. She can cook. Okay. And but yeah, I did all the cleaning. I supplied all the food for the whole 6-7 months that I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty much a living maid nanny.
What was, because Cora was married. I just want to interject really quick before, and I don't want to get in too much legal stuff because I know that, you're about to gear up and you're.
I've been telling them since 2016 that I would never stop fighting for my son. I've been telling them since 2017 to get their house in order. So, it's not like I didn't tell y'all.
Okay, so you are, because your son is currently in the custody of her.
I don't know where he's currently at right now because of the allegations.
You went to trial twice. Both times, the first time the trial was thrown.
Mistrial.
Mistrial. You said that your lawyer was paid off by the Jakes family.
That's what I believe.
To throw the trial. And then when you were gearing up to go to trial again without a lawyer, because she had all this paperwork and a paper trail on you and videos.
They lied. They said it was a continuous trial and it wasn't. It was a mistrial.
It was a mistrial.
They were able to cut out the discovery period where I could bring in actual evidence that my lawyer didn't want to bring in.
And so now you're getting ready to go to trial again, and you're representing yourself because you don't have you know, any counsel, and they have an unlimited amount of money. And their lawyers are obviously intimidating you and using video footage of you smoking marijuana, even though that was something you already cleared up, you know, with a previous CPS case that was unfounded. And they allowed you to keep your baby, and they tried to use that against you according to your according to your video.
And Dr. Gaylina, she had the prophet come down and do an exorcism on me and tell me that she had a vision.
Exorcism?
Or whatever you want to call it.
It is so much.
A ritual. I don't know what you want to call it, but them ladies circled me while I was sitting in the middle. They laid me down. And Gaylina was, you know, speaking in tongues, doing like this all around me. And I had this promise ring that I had been wearing since I had my son. And I got the promise ring because I made a promise to my children that, you know, I would do better and be better.
Okay.
For them.
And so what spirit came out when they were doing an exorcism?
I don't know, the speaking in tongues stuff.
Okay.
And then no spirit came out of me because I'm still laying there like.
When did this happen?
This was in 2000.
How old was your baby at the time?
A baby. He was a baby. So this was like probably in 2014.
Okay.
Probably in 2014, beginning of 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a baby.
So they're using all this stuff to intimidate you, coerce you. They have an unlimited amount of money. Your lawyer is exiting the case, and then you go and try to represent yourself, and then they use a video against you of smoking marijuana that I guess somehow Cora got.
Yes.
And you guys smoked together. And
no, in that particular video, I was in the car with who I thought was my friend Brandon, which I feel like he could have been the only one to give me the video because it was his name, not mine.
Okay.
And 2 other people, but it wasn't a video of me breaking down marijuana, rolling up marijuana, lighting the blunt, and smoking it. It was literally me smoking a cigar that they tried to say was marijuana. Okay. And it just freaked me out that time because I didn't know the law, you know.
And so because you had asked for a jury trial, they used this video to say, if you go to trial, this is what we're going to show.
Yes.
You already have a previous CPS case.
Yes.
And
so you might as well just try to come to an agreement.
Okay. And what agreement was that?
The original agreement that I agreed to behind closed doors, after feeling like I didn't know what else to do. And to be
without counsel present.
Without counsel.
So
and
which
to
means
be
it
clear,
was a settlement.
I only did the agreement because I was like, well, I do the agreement now, and then I figure out, you know, the laws and stuff of how to get out of this, or a lawyer or something. Because immediately after that trial ended, that same day, I'm calling lawyers.
Okay.
That same day.
Okay. So
that's my sister.
No, it's okay. So they call this settlement communications without the presence of counsel. And so basically you're agreeing and waiving your right to have counsel to negotiate on your behalf.
And I didn't know that.
To act on on a settlement. And so you were basically settling a case without knowing that you're settling a case.
Yes.
And so
because everything we
and
agreed
they can't
on,
use that in trial. You know that, right?
I didn't know that. I know that now, but I didn't.
I know at the time. I know you didn't know at the time. So, and I'm glad. Can we say that you do have formal counsel now?
Yes.
Okay. And so, and all of this is being brought into question because there was another time that you had spoke of when you did try to get, when you were expressing that you did not want to give Cora legal rights of your son, that there was a judge that came into
Faith
play
Johnson.
that is a member of the Potter House.
Yes, she is, and on the board of the Potter's House.
It has a very close relationship with the Jakes family, and authorized
she
a
authorized,
contract, okay, to be given without the presence of counsel for you, and Cora was able, with the presence of this judge being there, according to you, that you would sign this paperwork. You would know what it is that you're signing. And she would, as a judge, allow it to happen even though
I did not know.
it was against.
They asked me while I was signing if I had a full understanding of what I was doing.
Okay.
I'd probably say yes, but I didn't. You know, I was just scared. I was scared because prior to that, Cora had cornered me in her husband's office with her and Brandon and told me if I didn't give them my son that she would take him from me, you know, and that scared me beyond belief. So I figured, you know, well, if I do this now, again, I can figure out a way, you know, around it, you know, and then I'm like, well, I'm just trying to keep some type of tie to my son because the way she said it and the way she did it, and that was after the whole exorcism thing, I was completely scared. And I'm just like, well, I have to be in his life somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, and I know this a lot because, like, you've already gone through it.
You want to learn how to drive your man or woman wild and keep them coming back? Listen, Divine Secrets will have them leaving the rivers and the lakes that you used to. It's odorless and tasteless, and they'll never know the difference and know that this is lube at all. All you gotta hope for is that you can last as long as this product. I want you to use it at your own risk, because I guarantee you they're going to be blowing up your phone and won't leave you alone now. Now, I want you to click off this video and slip on over to DivineSecretsXOXO.com to experience a product that is truly one of a kind. Don't go chasing waterfalls. But I want you to chase this waterfall.
I was placed in this hospital room for high blood pressure complications. I did everything my doctors told me to do, including taking the prescribed medications, which I've been on for years, but I still ended up here. When I got out, I learned about my olive leaf, an all-natural extract that got my hypertension under control. Don't continue to drug yourself into becoming healthier. Go to myoliveleaf.biz to learn more.
Bell's Secret. Following a routine paired with Bell's Secret all natural and hydrating, plant-based brightening facial wash and moisturizer, acne eraser kits, black soaps, detox masks, and much, much more, you can rid yourself of dark spots, acne, and dry skin using Bell's Secret Gold Skin Collection. Your skin is the first part of your body everyone sees, and hydration is essential to keeping your skin healthy and slows down aging. Shop bellsecret.org for all of your plant-based skincare products now using the link below.
What in the fuck is a carbonation? Who want to answer?
Before there was a white man here, we existed.
People calling y'all a cult. They're calling y'all brainwashed. They're calling y'all weak. They're calling you crazy, delusional. You're being held against your will. You're not eating. You're malnourished. Rumors of HIV and STDs. What in the fuck is a carbonation?
Caesar has returned.
Women are electrons, we're movement. We're going to move through what his mind tells us to do. We're going to do that, and we're going to collectively know, like, okay, check.
You can become the master of your reality.
And how do you get people to follow you immediately? Master teacher. Never heard a black guy refer to himself as master teacher. And I'm thinking to myself, what warrants you to carry that title?
He was ordering you to slap the girls.
Bitch gonna take your place. You looking weak.
I went up against Oya. I'm Oshun. I went up against Oya, and I fought, and I won that battle.
So you would date a transgender?
Yeah. As long as they look like the female, not the man, not the cheap ones. You know the cheap ones? You know the cheap ones.
What's shaking up in you?
My most important thing that I wanted to do was establish the relationship that you had with this family. Now, the legalities of it, of when this paper was signed and her talking about you having the baby for her and the exorcism and stuff. That's a lot that you know, a young mother such as yourself, who's a single mother, is going through. You want to take that real quick?
That's my sister.
Okay.
Hello? I'm sorry.
Okay. I think I was talking about, like, there's so much that has happened between you going through so much as a young mother, having 4 kids at the time, and then your friend is plotting to take your baby and using things against you in order to get you to sign judges, courts, all types of things. But you have never, ever displayed, said on record, knowingly, with counsel present, that you wanted to give her your child.
Never.
And you want your baby home.
Yes.
Okay.
I contested the filing of the rights.
Okay.
I contested that. I let it be known that this is not something that I want to do. I also let the judge know about the duress and the coercion and the manipulation. And I wrote like a 3-4 page letter, because when I contested it, I was representing myself at first. And then I eventually got a lawyer by the name of Jerome Stursky. And I contested it. Well, by law, she wasn't even supposed to be able to file that, because I had stayed with them in the home with them and in the home with Jason for 6 months or more. So by law, she would have had to wait 6 months after or more that I had left to be able to file that. I left in May or June. She filed in September.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not 6 months.
It's definitely not.
Okay, and that's on record.
And that's on record. And the judge still allowed the case to continue. According to that, it should have been, over and dead with. Give this woman back her baby. This is not what she wants to do. It doesn't matter about the filing of the rights. You didn't file within the time period that you were supposed to file. So they should have rejected, but they didn't.
Because of the church's political footprints and the Dallas area.
Dallas, Tarrant County.
Yes. Things get pushed through when they're not supposed to get pushed through and overlooked. Right. And so I don't want to get too legally embedded, because I do know that you are gearing up to really present a heavy case. Yes. And so, and this will probably be the case of the century. Because it is I
didn't even know. I was literally just tired. I literally was just tired of the bullshit, tired of the lies, tired of the trauma, tired of the agony, tired of feeling helpless, tired of thinking, what are they telling my son, about me, or what are they not telling him? I hadn't heard Jason's voice since 2018. May 21st, I found Cora's TikTok, and I scrolled all the way down because I had been blocked on IG and things like that. And I scrolled all the way down to a video, and it was him talking. I'm so sorry. That's the first time I heard my baby talk since 2018. And I replayed that video over and over and over again. I went to sleep crying. Woke up replaying it over and over again. And I don't think they really understand the damage that they have allowed, and not even just with me, but with my other children. I don't try to mess my makeup up, but I don't think they understand. I don't think they understand. I don't think she understands what she did.
In your initial video, you spoke of really, really bad living conditions that your son was living in, despite Cora Jakes and her husband, Brandon, having an unlimited access to money and things like that. You did speak of hearing that your baby was locked in his room and diapers weren't being changed. He was playing in his poop and things like that. Like how did you come to know of that?
We had a mutual friend. Mind you, Cora doesn't take care of the children. She moves people in to take care of the children. So we had a mutual friend. Her name is Keisha. She was Cora's goddaughter at the time. Mind you, I've been knowing Keisha same amount of time as I've been knowing Cora. We all grew up in the church together. She was there. And I had begun to tell Keisha about things that I had found while I was there concerning Jason. And that's what kind of struck the alarm in me. I just didn't know which way to go when I was finding the folders of the receipts of things that she bought Jason. When I had her laptop and a message popped up and, you get nosy. So you go and I'm seeing messages where she's telling other people, oh, Michelle was supposed to come over this day. She didn't come over. When she has a notepad on the MacBook logging every time I did come and every time I didn't come. This is a real thing that she really did. That's when the light bulb started going off in my head. But at this time, she had kicked me out in May. And Keisha had moved in. And Keisha would basically tell me, hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened. And have record of it. And have pictures of it. Okay. So I brought it up in court. I brought it up in my letter. I messaged her about it, and nothing came of it. Nothing came of it.
So your baby was locked in his room.
And they used to lock him in the room. They put a lock at the top of the door. And they stayed in Canyon Springs in Grand Prairie. They put a lock at the top of his door. And because they would be up all night and then they would sleep late in the morning. Babies, they're up early, 7 o'clock, some 6 o'clock. They up, they ready to go, they ready to drink, they ready to eat, they ready to shit, poop, all that. They ready, And Cora didn't probably still doesn't to this day, mornings. So they got tired of Jason running out of the room, I think. And they put a lock on the door. So you can't really hear when the door is shut and is locked. If you're not sleeping upstairs, the only person that can hear their room is right there. But they wouldn't get up and tend to it. So a couple times that Keisha got up to get Jason, he'll be diaper full, shit popping out, boo-boo all on the bed. And, he's a baby, which infuriated me because it's like, why do you have my child? You're trying to take my child, but you're not even watching my child. You're not even taking care of the child.
So this baby's playing in his own feet.
This baby is playing. My baby is playing in his own stuff. And I tried to do everything I could to have him removed. CPS was called. And the CPS worker that was called to the house was a member of the Potter's house. So imagine how nowhere that went, And so once I made it known in court, they then took the locks out before the case study evaluator could come to the house, and they ended up moving. And I did not know where they lived or where Jason lived.
Oh my God. Does Keisha know?
A lot of people know.
Okay.
We'll just say that.
Okay.
A lot of people know, and I have an idea of where they moved to now. I didn't know then.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about her husband, Richard Brandon Coleman. Recently a mugshot popped up. He was accused of touching their adopted daughter, Amari, who you say no one knows where the mom is, where they came from. It could be the same situation.
Yeah.
Baby taken, just like how you were kind of coerced and pressured, to have your son taken. And so they're Cora, back in January of this year, announced that she was divorcing her husband, Richard Brandon Coleman, of 10 years, who was also over the ministry, had an office at the church. She was very involved in Potter House.
He was the operations manager because they've completely wiped him clean.
Okay.
You can't even find the man on the internet.
Okay.
So they have completely, people be like, well, how could they do that? Well, he was married, so I'm sure the wife knows the passwords, you know.
Right.
But he has no Twitter, he has no Instagram, he has no Facebook.
So all the followers and everything that he had amassed,
they're gone. They're gone.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, that's really crazy. So he's married to Jake's daughter for well over 10 years. They have an adopted daughter. Did he assist in helping Cora to take your son?
Yes, because that was his, we have to be honest, right?
Yeah.
That was his wife.
Okay.
So I think he was just standing with his wife.
Okay.
Cora was definitely the brains, the pusher, this is what we're gonna do, you know. Okay. Brandon was definitely just standing with his wife. If Cora was to say, you know what, babe, we're gonna just give Michelle back her baby, Brandon would have said okay. Brandon was literally
he didn't wear the pants in the house.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
So let me ask you this. So Brandon is now being accused of touching the oldest adoptive daughter of Mari, after Cora announced that she would be divorcing Brandon for whatever. She didn't give a reason. They were separating. Now, did his social media erase after the announcement of the divorce or after the allegations came?
I don't know when his social media
is just gone.
Erased. I just know it's gone.
Okay. And
he had social media in 2021.
Okay.
And we just now getting into the middle of 2022. So I would assume anywhere between January and May.
Okay.
He vanished off the face of social media.
This is an unofficial question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to give an unofficial statement. This is just based off of what you saw, because I don't want you giving a blanket statement, and things could turn different, right? So you've known them pretty much their whole marriage.
Yeah, I've known from 2004. They got married in 2011, so 12, 13.
So 14?
Well, since 14.
Okay,
yeah, pretty much
so
their marriage.
Being in that house and living in that house and being around Brandon, her husband, and these allegations hit months after she announced the divorce, okay? And that was the initial separation. I want a divorce first before even if, because these are still allegations and right. He has not been charged. He has not been, he's not been convicted.
Right.
So right now he
hasn't been charged either. He's been arrested.
So he hasn't been charged. So basically there's a pending investigation. And so what the church or organizations normally would do when allegations like that come, they want to go ahead and separate legally before they announce anything that has happened to anyone, whether it's sexually or physically or anything. And so you now form that legal separation. Now we can go with the allegations because we're no longer attached legally to that person. So she's divorced. She announces the divorce on social media, and then months later his mugshot pops up saying that he allegedly touched the adoptive daughter. Now you lived in that house. What is Brandon's character?
To be honest, I've never observed that to be his character. I've never observed Brandon, for the most part, stays to himself. He is an amazing mind and an amazing rapper. And I say lyricist because he tells stories. He doesn't just rap. He has an amazing gift in that regard. But Brandon would be in his office, making beats, making songs, watching Netflix shows, not really, you know, he didn't give Jason a lot of baths. He wasn't, no.
Okay. Do you see, I mean, the allegations that have been made, because see, I'm going to be honest with you, this is how I thought. Now, even though there could have been very well, Amari could have been touched by him. I'm not going to say
I'm not saying
and
that,
that's why I said unofficial.
But from what I have seen, what I have witnessed, the man that I know, I didn't witness that. I didn't see that. I never got that vibe. Now, maybe a womanizer, but never a pedophile. Never because his interaction with Amari was, you know, not cold, but just straight to the point, you know? And
he never called her or made her his favorite or anything?
No, that's not Brandon. No,
Okay.
that's not Brandon at all.
Okay.
That's not. Brandon is a man from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? So he was more of the tough love type of guy, but he never, I don't know. After I
couldn't see him.
I couldn't see it
doing the things.
After I downloaded everything, after I got out of the emotion, and now I have to think logically, because I've learned through this. You don't think with your emotions; you think with logic. So when I'm thinking logically and I'm tracing back in my mind the experience that I've had with Brandon for as being around him, and what I witnessed him and witness how he's interacted with children in general, and especially with his own child, Amari, I have never, ever, any inkling. You know, I didn't even really think he liked kids. You know, never.
Okay. And this is not to say, and like I said, I do want to stress this. This is not to say this did not happen. These are still allegations that is coming from a very powerful family that has the power to make the public believe anything they want the public to believe at the protection at the
expense
to protect their own. So if they wanted to conjure up any type of story and make sure
they could definitely do
this person does not have any access to their money, to their wealth, to these children that are legally supposedly his, what do? You create a diversion. And this is a diversion to keep him out of other churches. This is a diversion to keep him
closed. Mouth closed.
Don't say anything.
He's seen too much. He knows too much.
And that's, I would say, I'm taking this right now with a grain of salt. And if anything does come that is of tangible evidence, I will definitely be the first to, I wouldn't even say apologize, but I'm just saying, I'm just going to wait until the white lady slams the door. And given what you've expressed, it's not far to think what a person would not go through to protect their brand and their everything that they have monetary wise. And so how does someone who's labeled a pedophile, which he'll never
come back from it,
even if he's found, if these allegations are unfounded, that stigma will never leave, and he will never be able to work or be around kids the way that he wants to, or even work for a church, or be publicly accepted at that, just for marrying Cora Jakes, the daughter of TD Jakes.
And when the allegations came, after everybody got over the shock of it all, everybody back home is like, but I don't know, they don't sound like Brandon. I don't know, like, you know, so it's not just me, but a lot of people that knows Brandon and has been around Cora and Brandon, it's shocking, because we don't know that to be his character.
Okay. And it's not that, like I said, we know that this is a child, but I think when people hear children and they hear men and they hear anything of, because right now it's just, he inappropriately touched, and they think that there was some sex.
Some sex, right.
They don't know, right? We have to kind of take it we have to allow
the evidence to come.
We have to allow the evidence to come before we start labeling, because right now, him marrying into the wrong family has probably killed everything that he's ever worked for, just being associated with that family. Like, you can have everything you want as long as you're playing the game, but as long as you're not playing the game, you know, this is going to be there's no getting out peacefully.
No.
So,
and that has been proven time again.
And the money, I'm sure there was a prenup involved.
I don't know.
You never know. Like, you never know. Like, yeah. But I did want to get your opinion on that unofficially. This is not something you're saying as a blank. This is just your.
No, this is just
my
opinion of what I've seen and what I observed. However, if it is true and this is something that he did do, then we're gonna handle it accordingly. Okay. And I mean it. I ain't gonna let up.
Okay. Because at first you were very concerned because your son is in that house.
I'm still concerned.
Okay.
I'm not concerned just because of who I know him to be. You know people all the time and wouldn't think they'll do some of the stuff that they do.
And that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep for your son to be somewhere where you did not want him to be. And then you hear that the husband has allegedly touched one of the children in there. Now you're thinking my son could have gotten touched. And so even though I'm still coming to get my child back, this definitely makes it a lot easier for me to get my baby back now.
It makes it a lot easier, but it also emotionally makes it a lot harder because I'm caught with the thoughts of what he has experienced. What has he seen? You know, because I don't know the details, you know, so.
What has the Jakes family done since the allegations have gone public?
Nothing.
I've seen him just celebrate TD Jakes' wife.
They have did nothing. They have not addressed the congregation. They have not addressed the public. They did nothing but turn off their comments on their social media.
And this is the director of operations.
This is director of operations of the children's ministry, the would-be, I guess, the co-pastor or the first gentleman, or however you want to put it, of the children's ministry, because his wife is the pastor of the children's ministry. And we're talking 3,000 children.
Right. Okay. Hold on for a second. Okay. All right. So this is definitely raising my eyes because, like, your daughter's married. They're both over the children's ministry. They're around kids all day. Your daughter just says, I'm divorcing. Then allegations come that your husband that was over a children's ministry has now been touching your child, adoptive child that's in the house.
Adoptive child. And so technically the adopted child is still a property of the what? State.
Right. And yeah. And then I see Bishop TD and the wife twirling and dancing to their 50th wedding anniversary or 40th or something.
Cora on May 4th is telling everybody to drink their water and mind their business and dancing on Instagram. Yeah.
What do you listen? Because we can stay here for hours, and like I said, I don't want to impede on what you have going on right now, which means like going into things that will be addressed at a later date. What do you want to say to the public? And if you were to say it, look into that camera right there and say it
about Jason,
about everything.
I'm gonna start crying.
I'm gonna get you some more tissue.
I try not to cry. I am literally just a mom fighting for the rights that were taken from me and trying to bring my son home. I don't believe in living in a lie, and I don't believe in I don't believe that me and my children should have to continue to suffer this traumatic experience because of a woman who cannot have children that so desperately wants them. And I just want justice for myself, for my family, for my children, and as well as the other women that she tried, and for the other people that have been done wrong by this family and this church. My goal is not to condemn anyone.
Okay.
It's just to be honest about what has happened, what's going on, and what needs to happen.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I've learned to take the emotion out right now, get my head in the game, and just focus. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to my kids miss their brother. My kids really miss their brother. And that is the hardest pill to swallow. Like, me is different, you know? But having to wipe their faces or having to try to find the words to tell them, you know, about their brother because he's a piece of them and they're never going to forget him. You know, that's really the hardest part of all of this is my kids, you know, and the separation that is caused. And I just want people to know that it's not right and it's not okay and it's not fair and it's not justified, and it doesn't matter how much money a person has or doesn't have. And you can't do people like that and think that you're going to continue to get away with it. You know, God is to not be mocked. And there's been a lot of mocking going on. And I just want my kids to know that mommy didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? Mommy didn't give up. And mommy kept fighting. And I would continue to keep fighting. And I would continue to keep telling my story, you know, until I have my son. Until I have my son, Jason Lamont Caleb Brown.
I'm a mom. Come here. I could not imagine. Oh, sorry. Let me tell you something. One thing's for sure. Right? One thing's for sure is that